All right, in this video, I'm going to talk about why I'm investing in a joint account with my wife for my son. So, for context, me and my wife, we have a 2.5-month-old son. He's born early December of last year. We decided to open up a joint brokerage account for him in September, so a couple months before he was born, because we wanted to set him up financially when he turns 18, and also wanted to have some money just put away in case there's any expenses that come up, to take care of him. And so we decided to use Robinhood because that's a platform we use. It's pretty easy to use. At the time, they were offering a new joint brokerage account. I think it's a cool way if you and somebody else want to go in on being able to invest together, having kind of like a joint account. So we decided to open it up. And since we've opened it up, there's about $3,400 that we have in our two-month-old son's account. And I'm pretty impressed with the results, right? Not so much by the gains that have come in from the account. I mean, the portfolio is down negative $100 all time. So not any gains, and those are just unrealized losses because we haven't sold anything inside of it. But from the ability of us to create a process where we just create reoccurring daily buys into the account, we've been able to save and build up about $3,400 for him, and he's only 2 months old, right? And we don't plan on stopping like anytime soon. And right now the market's down. There's 2 ETFs that we're invested in. I'm pretty confident that in the long run, those ETFs are going to be generating some good returns because they're not like super risky. They're not risky. All time they've had pretty good yearly averages for returns, so I'm pretty confident by the time he's 5 years old, 10 years old, 15 years old, 18 years old, he's gonna have a lot of money in that account. Now for me, I think it's important to do this, and when I pitched the idea to my wife, she was fully on board. When I think about being like a parent, when I thought about being like a new parent, there's always that thing that you kind of hear where parents want to give kids something that they never had. Now, oftentimes you see that come out in buying them clothes or buying them, food, or maybe it's taking vacations or doing those things. And all of that stuff's good. That's stuff that we plan to do like as a family. But for me, one of the things that I never received, and I think would be awesome to be able to start with my son, and if we have other kids to do with other kids, is to have them be financially successful early on, like in life, right? And one way we can do that is to leave them a good amount of money, right? And so what we're committed to doing is we're doing daily buys. We're daily investing, both of us, about $20 combined, but $10 each from our individual accounts into this joint brokerage account, into these growth ETFs. And we don't plan on selling the money anytime soon. This is money that we plan to gift to him as he gets older, or to use for maybe big purchases. Maybe it's his first car. It could be used for college or educational expenses. It could be used down the road for a down payment for a first house. But I'm confident after 18 years of investing in this and not withdrawing, and favorable market kind of like returns, this account's going to grow pretty sizable. And maybe as we continue to increase our financial position, we increase the daily buys from $20 a day combined to maybe $30 and maybe $40, and maybe we aspire it to be $50 a day. But we do want to leave him a good amount of money. Now, this isn't the only account that we're going to have for him. I recently, this past week, opened up a 529. That's going to be for college expenses, and I'll make a future video on kind of what my plans are for that and how much I'm looking to contribute for that. But I do want to set them up with different accounts. Now, something that's I think important for me in this is just creating and leaving like a bunch of money for a kid. I don't think is going to be the most wise decision if it's not backed with strong educational teaching as they grow up on how to handle money, which is something that both me and my wife are very committed to. Not really trying to create somebody that's spoiled or entitled, or believe that they're owed stuff. Definitely want there to be strong discipline when it comes to handling money, and I think those skills are taught at an early age. So we're gonna have some plans and some ways we go about teaching our son how to handle money. But I think it's also important that we leave him some money to be able to handle, right? Like it's something that, it requires just a little bit of discipline on our end. But if I think about what I would have loved to have, right? Like, yeah, it would have been nice to be able to have some money left behind, or left for me from my parents, right? Which just wasn't the case. And, there's nothing bad about that, but that's what I want to be able to do for my son. So that's why I'm committed to doing this. It's pretty fun seeing kind of how the account's grown. I like to joke, I think he's right now the richest 2-month-old that I know, with $3,400 in his little brokerage account. And I'm excited to see the returns that are going to come from that in the future. And I might switch it up with different ETFs that we invest in. I do plan to make a future video on the 2 different ETFs that we've started investing in right now. But I don't plan to switch up the ETFs. I want to get a sizable position in these different ETFs and then just let it run and let it grow. Maybe 5 to 7 ETFs max across this portfolio is kind of like what I'm aiming for this. But this is just something that we started in September of last year, and I'm truly impressed. I mean, I think we're talking with some of my wife's family members. She was letting them know about the account when they're going out for like a drive, and then they came back to the house and were talking to us about it. And I didn't realize that there was $3,400 in the account, or over $3,000 at the time. It wasn't $3,400. I think it was about like $3,200, $3,100. But I didn't realize that it had grown so much. I honestly completely forgot about the account. I mean, the amount that we're contributing daily, $20, $100 per week, $400 per month. It's not something that we really feel. How we came up on the number for like $20 a day is kind of like, we might spend like $10 on getting something, grabbing a snack or grabbing like something from Starbucks, right? And we thought, hey, can we combine this together and just set it as a reoccurring buy? And it's not money that we really feel being withdrawn from our bank account, like at all. Like, it's not something that's being like, it doesn't, we don't feel it. We don't feel it that much, right? And for others that might be a large amount, but for us that felt like a small amount. That's money that we're already spending. And part of why, the previous video I talked about trying to cut back on, spending the money on DoorDash and how much I spent last year. That's part of why I'm like kind of auditing my finances. I'm trying to repurpose like money that I'm wasting and spending on dumb stuff to be able to help set up my family and set up myself for a better financial future tomorrow. And it starts from small habits like this. And I recommend it, like, if, setting reoccurring buys when it comes to investing, because, you're participating in the market every single day. You're creating like an automated like process. You're removing emotion from it. I think this would definitely be more difficult for me to follow it would definitely be more difficult to follow if I was manually going in and putting in $100 every 2 weeks, right? Because there's me involved in it, right? There's me having to think about, is this worth it? Should I pay for this? Should I pay for that? Versus just having it automated. And when you have it automated, it just runs. And when it runs, it's good. You don't even think about it. And next thing you know, 6 months later, a year later, you're looking at a $3,000 account. And by the end of the year, it'll probably be $5,000 to going on $6,000. And then a couple of years, we're going to be looking at a $10,000 portfolio. And it's really going to start to stack. But it's something that I think is like really good. I recommend it, like, especially like for, new parents, or maybe your kid's a little bit older, setting them up with a little bit of money, and definitely some discipline and teaching when it comes to handling money can go a long way. And I don't think it's bad. Again, like, this could be stuff that's a down payment for a first house way down the future. It's money that you can use to buy a car cash for them in the future. I mean, I will do the 529 for education, but maybe there's some other education expenses that come up. Maybe it's money that they want to use to start their first business. I don't know what it's going to be, but I feel it's a good investment. It feels better for me to make sure I prioritize doing this than just showering them with a bunch of meaningless stuff like expensive clothes or just expensive things that they're going to grow out of and they're not going to remember. I definitely want to, do this on top of, having family vacations and other stuff that makes life like more quality and gives them a good upbringing. But, again, I don't think anybody's going to regret my son specifically going to regret receiving a sizable amount of money from his parents, and knowing that his parents, set him up financially. So there's definitely got to be some discipline, though, some teaching that we got to do to make sure that he's able to handle that money, because and there'll definitely be guidance around how much money is like allocated to him at a certain time. But I think it's going to leave him in a really good position in the future, which is why I'm having fun doing this, and my wife's having fun doing this. And if we have another kid or multiple other kids, we'll do the same thing for them and figure out what the daily amount investment could be that sets them up. And that's just kind of how we're doing it. But just wanted to share that. Maybe it's helpful. Maybe you had an idea, of thought about opening up one of these, like a brokerage account for your kids. You're thinking about setting them up and creating generational wealth. I think it's a great idea. Go for it. I think this is your sign to go for it. Find a brokerage account that works for you. For me, I love Robinhood. That platform is great. Super simple. It's part of my generation. Like, they're offering everything on the platform. Opening up a joint account on their app is pretty easy. And then doing like combo investing between two people is pretty easy on it. So that's the one I use, but there's plenty of other accounts, and I'm going to continue to do research to find other different accounts that I can set up for my son besides this one, because I said the 529's one, and I'm doing that one through Fidelity, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a future video. But I want to see if there's other accounts that I can take advantage of, and I'm sure there is, but this one's a taxable brokerage account that I'm going to set up for him and have going. So that's it for today's video. If you like the content, subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment. I'm gonna continue to make videos like this, just talking about my daily finances, life, motivation, just whatever. This channel is just for fun, and I just want to give people an inside look into how I'm operating my life. So take care.